Oh, hey, we want to welcome everybody to the Petty Crew Radio Show. I am your boy, Boss Hawk, host of the Petty Crew Radio Show. I'm going to have a great show today, man. I have some lovely guests, author and co-author Bishop Anthony and Kristi Jones, who are here today to talk about the new release of their most recent book called Competing with the Man in Your Head. Again, we have a great show lined up for you guys. We have in the building Bishop Anthony Jones and his lovely wife, Kristi Jones. So before we get started, and I say everything I got to say, what we're going to be talking about today, I'm going to give these people an opportunity to introduce themselves. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Bishop Anthony Jones. Please let everybody know who you are.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be on the Petty Crew with my man, Boss Hogg. I am Anthony Jones. I'm the senior pastor at the Worship Center, along with my wife, Kristi Jones, right up under me. I am now the new co-author of this awesome book that we wrote. We just decided to write about our story. I ain't never thought of myself being an author, but hey, you never know what the plan of the Lord is gonna be. And so here I am. We are excited about what's going on, about the book. We're excited about just the movement of God, and we just want to share our story with you guys, and we pray that you enjoy what we put out.
Okay. Prophetess Kristi Jones. Please let everybody know who you are.
How y'all doing out there in radio land and social media land? I am Kristi Jones. My husband is that sexy chocolate brother up there. Just got to talking to y'all. We are, we're pastors of the Worship Center in Arlington, and I am a co-author as well of our new book, Competing with the Man in Your Head. I hope that we can share something that will help somebody else in their relationship search or relationship journey, as we have went on this journey of love ourselves. So we're excited today to be on the Petty Crew with Boss Hogg, the man, to get deep down off into this story today. So thank y'all for having us as well.
Okay, so listen, then, with that being said, for you guys that follow me on my personal page and the Petty Crew page. So here's what we're dealing with right now. I was recently suspended from Facebook. Facebook is literally really cracking down on kind of some of the words you use. And I didn't use any explicit words. They're just watching certain phrases and certain keywords. In any case, this past Thursday, I commented on a video that was really silly, and I'm paying for it today, so I'm in jail for 7 days. Now, with that being said, what I'm just now finding out to my people who are watching this live, Facebook will not let me go live while I am suspended. With that being said, the beauty of this all is that I'm still on Twitter, and so I still have a follow on Twitter, so we still are live. You guys will see this show Thursday because of my mouth, or not my mouth, but my words. And they were simple. Again, all I said was, okay, so here's the story. Somebody posted a video of a white chick who was running like a horse. Apparently the headline said, the caption says, well, she loves horses so much that she's learned how to run like a horse. So you click on the video, she's literally on her arms and her legs running like a horse and jumping over stuff like in the Olympics, the equestrian type stuff. And what did I say? I said something to the extent of, this is typical white people behavior, white trailer trash. No more than probably about 10 minutes later, Facebook police, you just made a comment that goes against the community rules, blah, 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 blah. and there was no point in me fighting it. You know, because you have, if you've been through this process, and my brother was in jail too. If you've been through the process, so they give you a choice, and I didn't have a choice to delete it. So they say, well, either you can accept the 7 days, like you and it's a judge, or you can, you know, basically fight it. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go and accept my little 7 days. But I did not believe, because I'm able to comment on my own page, but they're not allowing me to go live. So I want to apologize to you guys who are going to see this Thursday. We're going to still have a rocking show again. We're still live on Twitter. And we're going to just keep the party moving. With that being said, for you guys who are not aware, we are here and we're located in Texas, specifically Dallas, Texas. If you've been watching the news and you have been seeing what has been going on with Texas, this is one of the worst winter storm that we've seen. We've lost electricity. People have lost their lives. For me, I lost my internet for like a day and a half. And, you know, we can lay blame, but that's not what we're here to do. What I want to do is first and foremost say, you know, I want to send my condolences out to anybody who has lost a family member during this past week. Those that were affected by the loss of electricity, water. We see people who have, you know, water breaks. And so I want to personally say to everybody that I send my condolences. I do hope that you guys rebound. I hope you guys have home insurance. And I also want to turn it over to Bishop first and let him speak on, you know, what happened this past week. And then I want to turn it over to the prophetess as well to speak on the situation we just encountered here in Texas.
Well, again, thank you, boss, for allowing me to say a word. You know, we did go through a pretty rough time, you know, but we made it through. There were some casualties, and I think there are casualties with any and everything we do. I mean, you can get up in the morning, step out your bed, and actually have a casualty. I wanted to, if I have a word to echo, is that we don't take it and use it to our negative. You know, me being a pastor, you know, my mindset is this, that everything that happens, God allows. Nothing can happen except it pass through the hand of the Lord. And so, you know, even with us having casualties and as bad as it was, and we can point fingers all day long. We really, really can. I've seen so many comments on Facebook, and it seems like a lot of times it's easier for us to point the finger than it is for us to just go into survival mode. For us, it should not be a hard thing. We've been in survival mode all our lives. You know, we know how to handle hard times and situations. Right. You know, a little some cold weather here and there. We know how to handle these things. But I would just like to encourage the people to, you know, let's not always point the finger at someone to be able to blame. Because you know, I heard a lot of people saying that we didn't have a warning. Well, in the business that I'm in, you know, I may preach a message or give a message that you may not want to hear, so you may not receive it from me. You may have whatever your issue that you may have with me, so you don't receive it. But it don't take away from the information that I gave you. And this is my personal joke, that, you know, we talk about prophets and how prophets are able to give you insight. And I said, well, you know, they might have not wanted to hear prophet meteorologists, but prophet meteorologists told us 7 days before this storm hit us what was coming. Now, if you didn't want to listen to prophet meteorologists because you had your own issue with it, don't blame him or blame the state for what did happen of when it came to our part that we wasn't prepared. Because there was a lot that we could have done that would have sustained us through what we did have to go through. And, you know, it was rough for Texas, but we have friends up in New York and in Jersey. They laughed at us. They was like, y'all got to be kidding us. They was like, listen, we've had snow that covered to our door, and we had to bar through the inside. They were like, dude, y'all got 4 inches of snow. So, you know, I just like the people demand to just stay positive about it. And again, don't look at the casualties and then be critical, because again, you can step out your bed, man, and your life ends. So that can happen on any given day. Even and I think we'll get into it later with this coronavirus. It's so magnified now. We talk about that now, but the flu, they just don't broadcast those numbers. The flu and the coronavirus are probably neck and neck. We just ain't looking at those numbers. So just, if I would have anything to say, just be positive. Thank God that you made it through, and keep on moving, man, because we live to see another day.
Okay, Providence.
I would say the situation, it hit us hard, and we're not insensitive to what happened. It was unexpected, and anytime you have something that's unexpected, it always like throw you back. It's always like a blow, like whoa.
Right.
And this week was an unexpected. We knew the storm was coming, but we didn't know the level of damage that it was going to cause. We didn't know that people were going to lose their lives because they got too cold. We didn't know that people were going to lose all of their valuables because the water hit them and flooded their houses and the pipes burst and damaged their cars. And we didn't know all of that was going to come with the storm. But what I want to encourage the people is that the Father and the God that we serve, He always restores. He always pays us for our inconvenience. And I want to encourage somebody out there that has lost a lot in 1 week. Everything you built, everything you established for years, you lost in a week. I want to encourage you that we have a Father that we serve that will pay you for your inconvenience. He'll give you back. He'll give you back double because you were inconvenienced this week. And we believe God to be that restorer. We believe Him to do us like Job. He paid Job double for his inconvenience.
Yeah.
And so for those that even don't have insurance, that don't have the money, and it was a huge inconvenience for you, I guarantee you that God has a huge blessing that's coming for the huge inconvenience that you felt. And so I want you to stay encouraged and continue to believe God, continue to trust in Him. Don't allow this. And why did God allow this to happen? That's the first thing we do. We blaming Encore and all these other people, but a lot of us point the blame on God because God knows that this happened. And why did He allow this storm to come? And why did I have to lose all of this? And why did I have to go through this? Because He likes to show off sometimes and give us double for our inconvenience. Yeah. And so I want to just share that with y'all to be encouraged that He's going to restore. It's hard now. And that one quick week, that one moment that you lost, you're not even going to remember it when He restores back to you because He's going to give you double for your trouble.
All right. Listen, I like that. One of my takeaways from what happened is that African Americans need to prioritize what's important. If you didn't learn nothing else, and I joked about this on social media before I was banned, put in jail. Two things. One, paper towel toilet tissue ain't gonna help you. That's first of all. It ain't gonna do you no good. For you that run out there, we are in the middle of still in the pandemic. But us black folks, how we do. Everybody went to go get paper towels, toilet tissue. You couldn't find it. What you found out if you a Negro is that's not gonna save you. It is not gonna help you. Secondly, we have to be better prepared in emergencies.
We do.
Yeah.
We love to do what our white counterparts love to do, but we don't pay attention to the things that they really do. Is for a lot of them, we call them survivalists. They stay prepared. Those are the people who people look at crazy. Oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. You paranoid. And no, those are the people who made sure if electricity went out, they still had something to eat. Those are the things that if you are an African American, you should have learned. If you're in a home, you should have already had a generator. If you're in a house, that's something you should always have because you just never know. Having emergency kits, you can Google emergency preparedness kits, food and everything. That is food that will sit until the case of an emergency. When you run into a situation like we had where people who are out of electricity, I have frat brothers in Houston. I think they literally were out of electricity for like 4 or 5 days. Well, how you gonna eat? And so you need to make sure, if nothing else, you are prepared for an emergency, whatever it is, if it's fire, if it's rain, whatever, as the bishop saying, and so again, we just want to, say to everybody, we do. I do feel your pain. I have to tell a young lady on my page, well, again, before I was banned from Facebook, that she was insensitive. She's in Chicago, and she posted a picture of her in snow, and then she was like, well, here it is, I'm in Chicago, something to the extent, and y'all letting 2 to 3 inches of snow shut y'all down. And the young lady had to come in and say, it's not the snow that's shutting us down, it's the fact that we have no electricity that it shuts us down. And I thought that was very insensitive. Now, I say a lot of stuff. I say a whole lot. But certain stuff that I just don't, I'm just not going to touch. And I had to let her know, hey, that was real insensitive. Not only did you not get it right, we don't care that you up in Chicago. We're in Texas, and again, it's not about laying blame, but let's be insensitive about the people who have lost some things. And as the prophet said, those things will be added back to you. It'll take time and patience and to work out, definitely in your favor. With that being said, again, we just wanted to relay our thoughts on the on this situation. Listen, we have a great show lined up, and we're gonna get right into it. We have again in the building Bishop Anthony and the prophetess Kristi Jones, who are author and co-author of the book Competing with the Man in Your Head. But let me run down some of the other things that we're going to talk about, and we're going to get up into the interview with them. We're going to be talking about a doctor out of Indiana who is a black guy, because I know you guys are tired of hearing over and over about the coronavirus and all that, but we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we got to talk about it. We got to keep that on people's mind. He calls the vaccine experiment, and I'm sure my panel, because I've never spoke to them about vaccines and how they feel about it, they're taking it and not taking it. So this is going to be another interesting conversation. We're going to talk about Halle Berry and her response to a fan who questioned her reported $16,000 monthly child support payments to ex. She says people are allowed to use children to be awarded money. As a father who has paid child support, who, if you again follow me on my social media page, I posted a little letter that she sent me. So again, I did the happy dance and said thank you when mine finished. Right. So I just understand where she's coming from. And then we're going to jump into B. Simone. I don't know who this woman is. However, this little video surfaced on social media, which I'm going to end up playing. And she said she has people arguing after saying women are half the things they want in a man. Woo. Now, if you are a fan of this show, and I have a large fan of this show, one of our major segments are relationship segments. So this is going to be another burner, because I just can't wait to see and hear from you guys. So let's jump right into this interview. So first and foremost, and I'm going to start with the ladies, because, we're gentlemen here on this show. I try to be anyway. I'm going to start with the prophetess and ask the prophetess who's half co-author of the book, to let me know, or let this audience know, why was this book written?
Yeah. All right. So I'll just start with what the book starts with. It starts with our journey. And the reason that it was written. 2 people from 2 opposite ends of the spectrum of life, both believers, but both going in, 2 different directions with 2 different ideas of what it is that they want and desire in a relationship. For me, I was pursuing God, pursuing life. I had cut off love. I didn't want that part of me to ever raise up again because I had been hurt, had been broken. I almost shattered and crushed when it came to giving my love out to men and not receiving it back. And so I had put my focus on one thing, put my focus on God and ministry, and I was going full-fledged in that. Well, here comes this chocolate brother that just landslides my whole entire life. I didn't fathom that I was going to find love this way. You decide that you want a relationship, you have in your head, okay, I want this fairy tale. I want him to be a certain way. I want him to love me and swoop me out of my feet and be this tall, dark, handsome, good looking, such and such and such. You have this whole picture, women, in your head about how you want love because you see it on TV, you see it in the community, you see it around you, and that's how you want it. Well, he came along and all of that was like crumbled up. And, and we're going to do it the way that God wants it to be done. And so our story is so unique. Our story is so different, but it's still similar when it comes to the way women want to find love and how we want to find love. And that's where the book comes in, because there's so many people out there, especially women, that have this man in their head and they have this idea of love. And the real person that God has for you can be right in front of you, but you can't see him because the man in your head is blocking them. And so that's where this kind of pretty much stemmed from. I know my husband's going to tell some more, but just to give you a highlight overview of how the book came about.
Okay. Hey, because I got questions. So
come on with the questions.
Well, like you said, we had been friends for about 2 years. I literally, but we had been friends because she slid into the friend zone. The first moment I saw her, I was like a dog with the tail. When he sees something, when he spots something, that was me. And we was at church. I seen her at church. We were literally launching a new fellowship, and the speaker was her cousin. And so immediately after the show, and I'm glad I wasn't preaching on that day because I would have been real distracted. That's just how good she looked to me. And so after the service, I asked him about her. And, he kind of shot me down. He was like, oh, man, you ain't ready. That's my cousin. She don't play no games. Well, hey, being the player, at least I thought I was. I ain't half the player I thought I was. I don't know. Right. But you can't give me no challenge. That's what I felt like. That was a challenge. But, long story short, I seen her a couple of more times. And after seeing her a couple more times, we was in a service, spoke a word to her. We had a conversation. And again, we became real good friends because she slid me into the friend zone. Now, most of us fellas, we don't fool with that. Ain't nobody trying to go to the friend zone. My intention was not to be her friend, but I was in a transition in my life where I really didn't like who I was. So I was doing and trying things different. I was asking God to change me, change who I was. With that being said, when she slid me into the friend zone, I didn't react. I said, well, at least I'm still close enough to her. And so I continued on with what my mission was. My mission was she was the prize and I wanted the prize for myself. And I would just drop little nuggets, man. I bought her something real nice for, I think it might have been Christmas. I bought her a really nice Christmas gift. I used to always, talk to her, make sure, that, try to take her to movies. I did everything that I could in the friend zone. But again, I occupied a lot of her time because as long as I was with her, I was good. You know how perception is. People see you together, and you know how the church is.
And they go automatically think y'all together.
Yeah. So so on the flip side, I was kind of, running my little game, but man, she got ready to move. What broke the camel's back was she jumped up and decided she wanted to move to Florida. Well, I know I wasn't finna move to Florida. I had I done sat down. I knew God was doing things in my life. He was restoring me. And I was like, dude, you running out of time. You got to figure something out. And I shot her a text. I know it was a cop out. Say what you will to me, but I ended up with her. But I shot her a text about 3 days before she was moving to Florida. And I really didn't get the response that I wanted because she went anyway. but this is what I always heard this. My mama told me a long time ago, she said, if you can see yourself with it, you can have it. And then the concept of the letter in the bottle. If you throw it, like if it's worth it, you let it go, and if it's really good to come back. So I convinced her one night, I was talking to her one night, and this was my thing. I'm like, listen, I want to be with you, but I need you to come back to Texas. And this is where the book comes in. I said, listen, I love you. I'll take care of you. I cherish you. I won't cheat on you. I won't do none of that stupid stuff that I used to do. But the one thing that I can't do is I can't compete with the man in your head. Because remember, we were friends. So I knew the type of man that she wanted, and I wasn't. But the man that you wanted wasn't here. I was. And so when I told her that I wouldn't compete with the man in her head, it hit her like a ton of bricks. She made me wait for a minute, but at the end of the day, that's what sparked the book, competing with the man in your head. Because every woman has a dude in their head that don't exist. They still waiting on them.
And man too.
And wait, you know what? Hold on.
Man too.
Yeah. Because listen,
9, 26, 34, 36, all of that.
I'm gonna speak on this. I'm gonna say it for me. We take bits and parts of women. I've been married several times, and men and women before that. And we take parts. We take attitudes and eyes and nose and shapes and butts and all that. And we create a woman. I'd be like, dang, she cool, but if she had this, then she had. So we all think we all indirectly do it, but most of us never say it.
Yep.
And
so I got a question. Damn, I wish that's why I should have read the freaking book. Y'all finna change this whole lineup of this show. That you don't call this back once you read this book. You don't call them back.
You gotta read it. You gotta read it.
Because so now my question is so the beginning of the book tells the story of you two, correct?
Right.
Yes, the journey.
And y'all journey. And from there, take me and the audience through the progression of this book. It moves from your story to what is it? One of advice, and I'm glad I didn't read it because I have you guys on the show too, and I can kind of give up, it already. But walk me through and the audience through the progression of how this book is laid out. Because somebody single.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, because we got single people who are going to be watching this. You hit on something as a woman and you admitted this. And first of all, I want to say thank you for admitting that women have an idea of a certain type of man they want in their head. And so you're going to be speaking to a lot of women because I have a lot of females who are going to be watching this in our age group who are still single, married people as well. And so, again, I just want you guys to now walk us through the progression of this book being made.
Let me go first because my wife is going. She'll be a little bit more in detail. I want to speak to the brothers real quick. What I didn't realize was that all of my tricks and all of the game I thought I had, none of that stuff worked when I met this chick. Like whining and dining women, the game that I thought I had. Because remember, I told you I was going through a transition. So all of the stuff that I had used before to get the prize, or to get because we kind of think like that, to get the prize or another match under your belt. Right. That didn't work for her. Hear me, none of that worked. I started doing stuff like she would sit in the car And we pull up to a gas station. She was sitting in the car. She didn't pump her own gas. She didn't get out the car unless I opened the door. She didn't walk in the restaurant unless I, all of the stuff that we somewhat take for granted and then don't do. But she challenged my manhood by refusing to say, if I got a dude, why am I opening my own door? If I got a man, why am I pumping my gas? If I got a man, why am I changing my oil? You know what I'm saying? So all the things that I took, even for me, she challenged everything I knew, bro. Even up until now, still. On every level of my manhood. So it really forced me to be somebody else. And women gonna be able to gravitate to that, because if you don't draw the line, I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing. But she drew a line in the sand and said, no, if you want me, that don't work for me. She don't like if I were to go buy her a ring or some jewelry, that don't even move her. How many women do you buy jewelry that they don't move? Or you take them to a nice hotel, or
I get started.
So all of the stuff, all my tricks, like nothing that I was pulling out of my head was working. So it forced me to change, look at things from a different perspective, and it also forced me to get in touch with my sensitive and emotional side. And listen, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be quiet. We struggle with that, with our sensitive and our emotional side. But if women are sensitive and emotions, here where my preacher go kick in. The Bible said when he made Adam and realized that it wasn't good for man to be alone, he laid man, his only living creation, human creation, laid him down, took a rib from him, and made one man. So any brother out there that's saying, they're trying to live up to that testosterone, or I gotta be a dude, come on, man. Her sensitive and emotional side came from you.
I mean, because like I said, see, I'm listening and I got questions. That's why I said, see, y'all done just, y'all done changed up my whole, everything we discussed, but we gonna work that out. And so Prophetess, again, just walk us through it. So the beginning and then what?
So the beginning is the journey. We open it up with our journey. And he talked about when I went to Florida and he waited 2 days to tell me he's in love with me. I didn't know that. You sending me a text message, first of all, a text message that you were in love with me.
I don't like rejection, man.
And I'm like, what? Okay, so we take people through that, and then we break down the journey through the book. It's not just the beginning, but we have one chapter in there talks about the Mr. and Mrs. Right list. The list and this list that we have as people, how he has to have this, and she has to have a big booty, and he has to have chest, and he has to be 6'5" and dark and chocolate and good look. We have this long list, and as long as a scroll, longer than Luke 12, of all these things this person has to have, and you don't match up to that list yourself. And then not only that, but that list is what's blocking God from doing anything, because the list is too big for Jesus to fulfill. And so we talk about that, and we talk about the friend zone. There's a chapter there talking about, he talked about pushing people I pushed them into the friend zone. And a lot of times women do that because that man in their head is what they want. So this dude that's in front of me that may be all the things I need, I'm gonna push him into the friend zone because he don't have the things that I really, really want. And so when you're in the friend zone, he talked from a man's perspective of how guys, what do you want to do when you're in the friend zone? So those are some of the things. And then we also talk about the competition, the whole, competing with the man in your head, and how people are in relationships together, and they're trying to be this somebody that you want them to be, not knowing that they're competing with this somebody that you have in your head. Like they're trying to make them be something that you want, but it's not necessarily who they are. So they subject themselves to who you are, who you want, but it's not them. You know what I mean? It's not really them. Because I want to be with you, I'm gonna compete with this person that you got in your head. So it's a lot of things that we teach, we talk. We just really broke down a lot of different things in relationships, whether it be marriages, because we talked about the conversation in the book. Married couples, how they get in trouble conversating with people that they shouldn't be conversating with. Listen, if you married, when I was single, I didn't talk to a whole bunch of married guys. I didn't have no whole lot of long conversation with married men because I know I'm pretty. I know I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? And so I already know that your attention is on me from my outward appearance. And so whatever you need from me, if it's business, it's fine. We're gonna deal with business. But if it's something else, no, you married. And so some of us get entrapped and engulfed in conversations that in the beginning you weren't intended to be entrapped with that person, but now because you've conversated with them so much and your conversation started leading to other things, now you in a whole nother adultery situation. You know, you in an entanglement. You know, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on
Right.
from a conversation. So the book brings out so many different areas in relationships, so many different types of relationships, and a lot of these things we talk about on the Love Seat. You know, we talk about that on our show, on our relationship show.
So, you know, I'm flipping through the book because I see something, and again, I'm not going to give it away, but here's some of the things that they're talking about. This says number 5, be cool and don't move too fast. The idea of a long-term, serious relationship is great, but it takes time for most men to get to a place where that's what they want. Trying to have the conversation about where you are in your relationship on one day or over the course of 1 week is usually too much to take in all at once. Speaking with men or anyone about a long-term commitment is something that's best to bring up over time. Instead of in one surprise, we need to have a talk moment. You want commitment, build it, encourage it through your actions and not words. Be there for him and trust that he will stick around. Women sometimes sabotage themselves wanting things from a man and making demands in relationships too soon. If you don't give of yourself quickly, you won't have high expectations of the relationship to go any further than it already has. Chill out. Enjoy what is in the moment with him and allow the relationship to move at its own pace. That is powerful. And again, this is the book that they're talking about. Again, I have with me author and co-author Anthony and Kristi Jones, Competing with the Man in Your Head. My mind now is all over the place because I can agree. Damn, see, listen, I gotta have y'all a little bit more because it is not too often, and I just said this the other day on my social media page again before I was blocked, I think Wednesday or early Thursday, that what I realized, because we're going to talk about the B. Simone, because see, all this plays into all of this, and so this is why you guys really need to get this book, is because that's just one nugget that was dropped, and it's actually true. Some people tell you out the bat, hey, this is what I want, blah, 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 blah. And for a lot of men, you know, it's hard to kind of take in, as people like to say, process. My process is different than, now me, I'm one of those, I'm a little bit different. I need to know what it is off the gate. Now, I ain't saying beat me upside the head with it, but at my age as an adult, I need to know where you are. And there's nothing wrong with speaking, because, you know, conversations and talking will kind of show you where people are, if they're lying, if they, you know, tell the truth, just being honest. I see something there where it's talking about communication. And so what I want to hit on is the prophet said women have an idea of this man. Bishop said, I was thrown in the friend zone, and I spoke and listened. Somebody told me the other day, man, you act like that Kevin Samuel dude. You talk like, I said, no, Kevin Samuel is me. I'm 12 years in it. I've already been there and done what he's talking about, because I believe that is true. I've said it a million times. Women, that's why it's funny that we're having this conversation, because I've said it on social media over the years. I believe in psychology, and I've said it being funny as hell. You know, I got a smart mouth on social media. Instead of you friend zoning that guy that you don't like because you're not attracted to him, why don't you flip it and friend zone the dude that you're attracted to and give the guy that you're really not attracted to the opportunity? That way, you can talk to the God that was really going to dog you about how good your relationship is. I know that's hard because I said that quick. That's psychology. I know that was hard for you that's watching what I just said. Women, instead of you, that dude that you are attracted to, the one that you're looking at that you have your eye on, and the guy that you friend zone, just reverse it. Give the guy who you would normally friend zone an opportunity. Friend zone the dude that's more than likely that's going to dog you because you're attracted to him. You want him to be attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
That way now you can talk to the guy that was actually going to dog you how well the guy that you was going to friend zone is treating you. I say all that to say is it goes back to this story that I'm seeing and we're seeing before us. A lot of times the guy that is for you is in your face and you never give him an opportunity.
Right.
Nope.
Because as the prophet has just said, we women have an idea of who they want. This what I call this man that never will exist. And the reason why a lot of single black women, because this is a black show, will die alone. I have made it clear a million times. A lot of black women, and I'm saying this seriously, all jokes aside, a lot of black women will die alone for this very reason because they are still trying to obtain and hoping that this God that they have in their head is going to run across someday. So now you good. I'm a friend zone you. As the bishop said, you good. You not my really what I'm really looking for, not realizing he's there the whole time. My question to the prophet is, what was your, because I'm sure as a woman, you were now in conflict of the idea of what I want versus who's before me. So what was the struggle and the fight? Because I'm sure there had to be a fight within who you are in saying, okay, am I fighting with what I want versus this guy who's presented himself to me and they're not my ideal? How was that struggle? Where did you just have to say, damn, I gotta let it go?
All of that you just said. But no, I have been single for 10 years. I previously was married once. I was previously married once. Bad marriage, 14 years of my life down the drain. Literally. And I had pursued, celibacy and just God, and like I said, ministry. 10 years of my life, I was just gun-ho for the Lord. And I said, cut that side of me off. But in my head, we have Ken, and it's the whole Ken and Barbie syndrome. Little girls from when they were young, they play with Ken and Barbie. Barbie has Ken. And so we automatically trained up as little girls with the dollhouse to have Ken. He's strong, he got muscles, he fine, so you in your head, you got this night show, you got Cinderella and the Prince Charming and come. So you are this is shaped in your head even from your childhood. And so in my head, I've always dated basketball players all through junior high and high school. I've always had, tall, very tall, slim men, buff, all that. So that's all I've ever been attracted to. That was my attraction.
Yeah, that's your remote.
Yeah. Wow. And so when Bishop came along, we were good friends. We even told each other about dates and stuff that we went on, and he was telling me about the type of woman, showing me all these pictures of these women that was showing him stuff and all of this, So we was just, so I knew his type too. He had a type too. He talked about my type, but he had a type too. And so, all of that, it was a conflict in my head because I knew he started having feelings for me. And then when I asked him about it, he kind of backed away from it. No, it ain't like that. I was like, okay. And so when I went to Florida, he didn't tell the full story about the Florida because, he was high level and give you high level. So when I went to Florida, he told me he loved me 2 days before I left. When I went to Florida, I was going and pursuing and doing the things I need to do. But we started to talk more than we had before. Like we started to talk every night. And then we would talk till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, Hours went by. We on the phone. We videoing each other, Facebook Messenger video, and just giggling and kiki. And it was so funny because the more I talked to him, the more I started seeing a different side of him that I hadn't noticed before, because he had always been in the friend zone. And this time he was still my friend, but it was changing. And so I was still battling back and forth with myself, like, girl, you catch your feelings for Bishop. You catch your feelings for him. Because I really, honestly, I loved him, but not that way. I loved him as a friend. But this time when I'm in Florida, my heart started to change. And I started to see him differently. And he started sharing more things with me and opening up even more to me. And he started looking different to me. Wasn't my type, outward appearance at all, all of that. But I started being blinded to all of the things that I had that was vain, the vanities that I had in my own spirit, and started really seeing that this is a really good man.
Gotcha.
He has a big heart, and so I'm wrestling with, girl, you better stop that, because people gonna talk about you. You talking about you like Bishop, don't. And he in Texas anyway. You in Florida. You ain't gonna go back to Texas. So I was struggling and wrestling with, okay, I'm catching feelings for him. I'm not gonna tell him, and then I'm not going back because I already moved. So all of that was going on. But then what got me was when he told, it was like a slap in my face when he said, Kristi, I love you. And I promised to be there. He said, I want you to come back to Texas. He said, but I can't and I will not compete with the man that's in your head. Because I'm right here, but he's not. And he hadn't been for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He'd been in my head, but he hadn't appeared in 10 years. I've been single for 10 years, single by myself for 10 years. And he made me realize, you know what? You tripping. This is a good man. What's wrong? What's wrong with trying something different? And I thought about that movie, Something Different, with Sanaya Lathan, when she went over to the white side, because I want a white man. I said I was done with brothers. I'm going to a white man. And again, he was in my head. He wasn't present. And the ones that were prior didn't stick around. And so I said, you know what? I do have feelings for him. I do care about him a lot. I do feel like I love him. And so I came back and we started dating even more. And here we are now.
So, and either one, you can answer this. Is it safe to say that, and again, I'm talking to the author and co-author, Bishop Anthony Jones and his lovely wife, prophetess Kristi Jones, about their book, Competing with the Man in Your Head. I got a question, but then I see we're going to talk about test your list of appropriate standards. I'm just skimming through there, and I want y'all to touch on that because that's in y'all book. And so my question is, would you say, though, it took a level, or would you agree that it took a level of maturity? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that you had to get rid of all of your beliefs, meaning that ideal of what you thought you wanted?
Yeah.
Well,
he was half of it. He was when I started looking at my list, and I talk about that in the book about the list. When I started looking at my list, everything, he was on my list. It just was the outer, my vanities, and God had to show me that I was vain. My vanities were blocking it because I wanted a tall man. He's dark and bald. I like dark and bald with the beard. But I wanted a tall man because I wear high heels. I wear 6-inch heels, 5-inch heels, and I don't want to take my heels off for no brother, but he don't feel no kind of way with my heels on. He like me have my heels on.
Yeah,
he like me leave them on, but he, even with the stature, that it was the vanity that was blocking me. Good heart, giving, family man, loving, caring. The biggest thing with me was the vanities that I had, and then I didn't want to marry a pastor. because my hurts also block me. See, some women have that competing with the man in the head because they've been hurt by a certain type of man, so they don't want that man anymore. Because I've been hurt by this certain type of man, so I'm not going to marry that type of man. And I had said in my head, I am not going to marry a pastor because I had been hurt by pastors so many times. And so that was y'all, all y'all hoes. That's all y'all are. You know,
Oh.
in my head, that's what I was saying. All pastors are hoes. They got all them women chasing after with no drawers on in the church, shouting all over the place. You know, so I am on, and I'm gonna be up here in the front row looking at you while you want my man. You coming to the church for my man. You know, I've seen it all. And so I said, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. Because no. And so most of the time I ran from pastors because that's all that was attracted to me. I ran from them because I'm like, I'm not married. No, I don't want no part of that. So that was the biggest thing with him. It was not just the outward appearance, but it was the fact that he's a bishop. And I was like, oh, no. Mm-mm.
So I got one more question. And Bishop, I want you to answer and talk to us about the test your list for appropriate standards. But before I do that, I got one more question. My question is, because this is Pastor, Bishop, and Prophetess. I too, even though I act heathen on this show, in real life, you know, I am a Christian. I faithfully go to my church and whatever. So let's touch on, because here's how I see it. I'm listening to your story. And honestly, you are speaking and you just don't know it for a lot of women who just don't want to open up their mouth and be honest. Are you really walking a Christian life? And this is just one aspect, and it's multiple in this life. You know, the Christian walk. Are you truly really, how do I want to put it, living that godly life that some women think they're living, and you will still have that? Okay, he cool, like you said. I mean, he's on the list, but he's not coming in the package. Do you understand the question I'm trying to ask? I mean, like because as Christian, are we not supposed to not look at people from the outward, but within the inward? That's what I'm trying to get at. You know, for a lot of women, you know, you say you godly, you know, you tithe regularly, you know, you're doing all of that, and yet and still, I still have that surface about me. I mean, can you talk to that? I mean,
well, we still human though. You know, we're still human. Don't keep that. Don't. You know, Christianity is our lifestyle. It's a way of living, but we're still human. Nobody want to wake up next to Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look at no boom boom no fool. I don't want to look at no Gilla gorilla. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? So I think I know where you're going. Mm-hmm. When I saw her outer appearance. I didn't know what her heart looked like. I didn't know what her conversation was. She was fine. But you see what I'm saying? So a lot of us don't want to deal with that. I looked at everything on the outside. I didn't know what was on the inside. I was attracted to what I saw. We are attracted. We are physically attracted to one another before anything else. You know, I ain't want to make love to her mind. I don't know what's in her head. I want to make love to her body. As a preacher, they say what they will, man. They keep me out of church. They want to, but I was attracted to her body because I didn't know nothing else. So that's what I saw. Mm-hmm. You know, and so, you know, those people that want to be in the church and act like, listen, she had on a dress that was fitting. She didn't have on those big old robe where I couldn't see nothing. No, I saw them curves. I saw the way that dress was hitting them curves. And she was still in those 6-inch stilettos. And I was like, yeah, that's what's up. So, but a lot of us want to act like we can't do that because we saved. Mm-hmm. That's enough.
Right. Gotcha. So I mean, and I do agree for properties. We are human. I say it all the time. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm not gonna fit the mold of the regular everyday Christian, because I'm just not, because I'm not gonna always walk in the church with a bow tie and suit. That's just really not my thing. I dress up when I get ready. I speak when how I speak, just depending on the circle I'm in. I don't mind saying that every day I wake up, my mind is not stayed on Jesus. That would be a lie. It's not going to happen. It's not. I'm not. If you ask me how I'm doing, I'm not going to say I'm sanctified and filled with the Holy Spirit. That is not.
If we be honest, we ain't either.
And so, so I understand that we are human. It's just that, first of all, I want to commend you for shattering or beating the man in your head and eliminating because the truth is that at least, and that's why I asked you about the fight, because I'm sure, because I know we have struggles every day. Let's be real. We can act like every day is always good, but our mind is always forever going. There's always something going on. And so, that's why I said I commend you for at least fighting and winning against that and competing. As the bishop said, I'm not going to compete with the man in your head. I'm here. I'm just not, like I've said on social media. A lot of these men, because I have more women, so I talk to women like that because I have more women on my page. I say all the time, a lot of these men, and what you need is not going to come in the package you think it's supposed to come in. And that's where we're losing as African Americans. That's the reason why, we got the highest divorce rate.
Yeah.
We got the biggest financial issues and because again, we're competing and I don't want to make it one-sided.
Yep. Men do it too.
And he said, listen, I saw her outer appearance. Yes, men are visual creatures until we get to know one another. And your story, and again, for you guys, who's going to purchase this book, again, you're probably going to want to purchase this book because the conversation we having is interesting within itself. Bishop, test your list for appropriate standards. What did y'all mean by that?
Who, me?
I'm talking to you. This is in y'all book. It says test your list for appropriate standards. What does that mean? What is that?
But I think what that means is a lot of times our list is not realistic. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta test what's in your head against what's realistic. And if we don't do that, we'll forever be out there searching for something. Like she just said, it was 10 years that she was waiting on this guy of this figment of her imagination that was in her head. And until this day, he still ain't showed up. If he were to show up today, listen, I'll gracefully move out the way. But
no way.
He still ain't showed up. I'll step aside and give him a shot. I don't think he's gonna be able to outdo what I done done. But I'll give him a shot. I'm trying to think of that movie that my wife always teased me that I watched.
Lord, nobody's fool, baby. Nobody's
fool. Well, she had this dude who she never seen before. And she was with the guy, the owner of the coffee shop. Well, what happened was when he showed up and when she got to know him, he wasn't nothing like what she thought he was.
But he was everything in her head. He was everything in her head.
He was everything in her head and on her lip. Now, all I got to do is go look at the movie. He was everything in her head and on her lip. But in person, he was nothing like that. But the coffee shop dude, who was just a real good dude, he was an honest dude that had some hard times in his past, got his life together, and he was straightforward. That dude, that was the dude she ended up choosing, she ended up going for. So, and when the dude showed up, even though the coffee owner guy was a little aggravated, he moved out the way. Well, that's what you want, go ahead. And what ended up happening? She ended up coming out to the cabin, all out there in the rain, playing music, getting the heart wet. So man, sometimes you just gotta go with what's real, man. And I think that's where we at.
Prophetess, you want to weigh in on it?
Well, yeah, it's okay to have standards. That's what we were saying in the book. It's okay to have certain standards because certain standards we need in order to make sure that we are loved the right way that we're supposed to be loved. But make sure that they're appropriate. Don't have something that's just so drastic. I think sometimes some of that stuff you have to learn that it can come along with the person that you're falling in love with. It may not necessarily be something that they have up front, but it may be something that you are inspiring to have or do or dream, and that person can come along and help you with that. So what we were saying is it was okay to have standards, but make sure that they're in the appropriate way. Make sure they, that they meet a requirement of yours that's going to be life changing, not something that you just, oh, I want him to be a millionaire. Now, come on now. Some of y'all, if you want a black millionaire, you probably gonna you probably gonna be, single for another 30, 40 years then, because you know what I'm saying? Come on now. It's not a whole lot. I mean, it's a lot of us rising up, but my man got to be a multi-millionaire. Well, okay, wait in line and see how long you're gonna be in that line. So make your stand. It's okay to have standards, but make them appropriate.
Right, make them realistic, not something that's
let me weigh in on this. I think we're gonna get to this in a minute with the B. Simone. You're asking for a guy. Yeah, you're asking for a guy to be a millionaire, but your credit score is a 410. Really? You can't even manage $100, let alone come on, man.
Listen, you go. I have a saying. Listen, hit dogs go holler, and so you throwing some rocks, and it's gonna hit somebody. But again, you guys, y'all gotta get this book. They are colorful like me. Competing with the man in your head. I got my copy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start reading it today because I'm looking through it, and like I said, I can pick different nuggets out of it. Be mindful of his face. That was test your standards. I mean, I can just flip through here. Just because I am a friend doesn't mean you can use me or be careless with my heart. Listen, y'all gonna have to get this book because y'all gonna want to read within that. And like I said, they've just changed up my whole program because I had a program lined up, just was gonna do, but that's just a whole fun part of my show where again it can change and be rearranged however. And it was meant to happen this way again. We're talking relationships. And I should have knew it was gonna happen because we're talking about competing with the man.
Am I froze?
I think it's him.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, boss. I don't know. He froze.
Huh?
I said, I don't know if he knows he's frozen. Station identification.
Oh, he gone.
Well, we still live, so go ahead and say something, babe, until he get back on.
So what were we talking about? We were talking about
the list was one of the things that he kind of brought up more of about, having that list. And I guess that's going to go into the young lady that she said, we want this, we want that, we want.
Right. I think we just got to be more realistic about the things that we're asking for. I think I know what we were at. We were talking about, you want him to be a millionaire, and you work at McDonald's and your credit is bad. Well, what you gonna do with a millionaire? I mean, how you guys are gonna balance or benefit one another? And you like to spend a whole lot of money and don't like the budget, and on the flip side, he has his business together. We're asking for things that we want that we don't even have in place ourselves, and it's interesting, as we get into that part of the show because I had a lady tell me, I think about a year before I ever even met you, and what she said, and my credit wasn't bad. I mean, I had a couple of credit cards, but basically she told me, she said, pay your credit cards up, get your credit right, so that when you meet this queen, you'll be in a better position. She wasn't telling me to go get more credit cards. She was saying the ones that you got, pay them up.
Right.
Pay them up. Work on your credit. Get your stuff together so that when you meet her, you can embrace her and bring her into something instead of just debt and a bad attitude.
I don't think that a lot of people, and that's really good too, because I don't think a lot of people even we miss that part about the preparation for a mate.
Mhm.
Or even what we're ready for, we think we're ready for, we're really not ready for. What we asking for, we not really ready for what we asking, because when it come along, we don't know how to handle it. But I think that the preparation piece of it is really key in a relationship. When you're pursuing marriage or you're pursuing a true relationship that's meaningful, are you really prepared for it? Are you really prepared? Like you talk about something on on our show about the getting ready for dating. Are you financially able to date?
Mhm.
I don't think we prepare. I think we miss the preparation piece of having a relationship or getting ready to build a relationship, because it takes preparation to build a relationship, not even
Well,
just a
well,
marriage, but to build a relationship.
I think people miss the dating part of a relationship. In the dating segment of the relationship is, I mean, if you're not able to take me out to get a steak, some potatoes, and some steamed vegetables on the side. If your budget is McDonald's, you ain't in a position to date. If you can't take me out and spend $60 or $70 and yet your bills be paid, you're not in a position to date. If you don't have your own place or be working toward that, where do we go when we get through with the day? We go drive up at the park.
We can go over there and sit down with your mama on the couch.
See, what
Watch
else?
eat.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, like you just said, our preparation for dating and getting ourselves in a position to really date, because I think at our age and people that are at our age that have either been divorced and back out in the dating field, I'm sorry, at 40 plus, we're dating with a purpose. I ain't just with you to give you some, you give me some, and make each other total care. That ain't what we're looking for no more. We don't have enough of that. We're looking for a life partner, somebody that I can live and build the second part of my life with. And so I
Well,
think
Hey,
we should
I
look at
am
this.
back. Hey, y'all didn't hear none of that, did you?
No, we ain't
now
heard
we've
that.
been talking. We've been.
Listen, I thank y'all so much, first of all, for continuing to show. Bishop, y'all have y'all own show. Y'all know how I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My damn Wi-Fi cut off. And so, you know how that is, it cut off and cut back on. But y'all didn't hear me go off or nothing, did you?
No, we didn't hear that.
No.
Woo, thank you, because I was so pissed. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So the little Wi-Fi went off.
That's all right. We kept it rolling.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
did. We
I
did.
love y'all. I appreciate that. So what did I miss? What y'all talking about?
We
The
were actually
list.
talking about the preparation for dating. And like I said, I think this is going to roll over into other segments. How a lot of times, this is what I believe. And I had a lady tell me this one time about a year before I met my wife, to get my credit together, get my bills together. Because listen, a lot of people who are out here dating are not prepared to date, and they shouldn't. Because if you can't go in your own car to pick up a woman, take her to a movie, or meet her. Maybe we'll just meet on the first couple of dates. Pay for a meal, $60 or $70, and your bills be paid. You don't need to be dating. If you gotta take her to McDonald's, you ain't in no place to be dating. If you ain't got nowhere to take her once y'all get through with the meal, we ain't
So
gonna
your
go out
mama
and
house.
sit on the couch with mama over in
With mama watching the movie.
lazy boy, in the living room. You ain't in no position to be dating. So a lot of us need to just get ourselves together so that we can be in a position to date. And I'm gonna say this point, I was done. Because at our age, if you 40 plus, I'm sorry, the toes curling and the blowing of the mind, listen, we done with that. We don't have enough of that, and we don't have no more. We're looking for a life partner. We're looking for somebody to spend the second part of our life with. And listen, you got to get your stuff together if you want somebody to come into agreement with you for that.
You gotta be prepared for a relationship, whether it be something you want to be serious about or whether it be a marriage. There has to be some preparation prior, and I think that this goes to what you were talking about with the show.
Okay,
the young lady.
I got something to say. I agree. Ooh, this is a tough one. Because I've seen on social media something similar to what the bishop was saying about being prepared Um, if you're not together or have it together, if you can't do this, you can't do that. In a nutshell, then you shouldn't be dating. Now, I typically see this from women. I normally see that conversation coming from a woman again, and so what I always say is I always ask. Well, I say two things and I ask a question. The first thing I always say is together is relative because that will look different to everybody. There's not a concrete ideal of together. You don't. That will be relative. It's almost like somebody saying I need a good woman, a good man. That would be relative because good looks different to everybody. It's just not right. So my first comment is to when I hear the together thing is that's relative and that's gonna look different to everybody. But then I always ask, well, if together is relative, what am I waiting to date somebody for? It's almost like the story we hear as Christians trying to bring somebody in the church. Y'all probably done heard it before. Well, I need to get myself together first. I need to do this first. But what we find happening is that they're still chasing something that they're trying to get together, but it eludes them from going straight to the church. And I look at that in a similar aspect. If wherever any woman or man are, in any place, any station they are in life, if they're still trying to get something together, they're chasing something that may or may not happen. When, for instance, so I know my weaknesses as a man. I know I'm not the best. Even though I'm a Virgo, I'm not the most organized. Not that I'm not organized, but I know I'm not the best at it. I know I know what I'm great at, and I know where I lack at. And say, for instance, but I might run across a woman who have those abilities where I'm lacking. But if I'm not out there to be a part of the dating process because I'm trying to get it together, then I might not ever run across that young lady. And now, okay. I see what you're saying.
No. Yeah. Let me elaborate. Mm-hmm. I wasn't there. What happened was, remember I told you I was in transition. So mm-hmm. in my endeavor to change my lifestyle, I finally got my credit halfway decent, and finally got my credit card halfway decent, but I didn't have a place to stay. Our situation is unique. I'm saying now, it's ideal I was headed towards what I was actually saying. But I was actually staying with somebody. This chick right here was just so unique and so crazy that she just jumped over in the boat with me. You know what I'm saying? Because mm-hmm. actually we both were living with somebody else. Our story is so ridiculously crazy, but we both were working towards something. This thing that I was talking about being prepared, and listen, like we said, we were friends, and so we stumbled over each other. And what made me move, even in the place that I was, is like, if I don't say nothing right now, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose it all. So I cast everything that I had in there.
Right.
But I wasn't in that place yet. I was moving in that direction. I knew where I wanted to go.
Okay. And yeah. What I want to say to that, being prepared to date, because you set a certain standard and expectation with someone when you're giving them your representative. And what I mean by giving them your representative, meaning what you present to them up front is their mm-hmm. expectation of you. And so if you are taking them to a fine dining restaurant, their expectation is this is what we're going to get when I'm with this person. And you can't go from Dakota's and the mansion to McDonald's the next day. They're gonna be like, wait a minute, what? You done took me to the mansion and to Dakota's and to Ruth Chris, and now we're going to McDonald's. I don't even what? Did you lose your job? So we set that expectation up front. So if you can't afford
Yes.
Don't set that expectation. My thing with my husband was I'm a country chick. A lot of people don't know that about me. A lot of people do. I was raised in the country by my grandmother on a farm. I'm that get in the ring with you, get down and dirty with you. I'm very creative. So a date to me may not be a date. A date to another woman may be Ruth Chris. Now I've cooked there before with one of the top chefs, and that may be their expectation. For me, I like a picnic at the park with some Stella Rolls.
Right.
And I'm a chef, so I cook my own food, bring it and put it in the basket. We sit there with the radio playing, looking at the lake, watching the ducks walk by. Didn't spend a whole lot of money, no more than about $20 for the whole day. But it's the experience itself. I took him out to White Rock Lake with some chips, some fruit, and all that. He had never been to White Rock Lake before. I create the experiences. I don't require, you don't have to take me somewhere real fancy, because I've been in those places before and they don't do anything for me. But I'm saying is, when you can't afford to do those things, don't set those expectations up front. Right. Because you create something worse for yourself. Then you can't go pay your bills because you create this expectation. You got to keep it with this woman.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Man, we had these conversations at home within our family. And I tell my mother, if I was talking to my mother about you, I would say, listen, I ran across one of the few. I told my mama, they don't make them like they used to. I would have to put you in that category of they don't make them like they used to. You know what I'm saying? You will be wanting the next time, a brother run across somebody like that. And so I get where both of you guys coming from. It's just for me, I tell people, and a lot of times the narrative of a man, because it's typically coming from a man. I mean, a woman talking to a man about, before you start dating, you need to make sure you got your shit together and all that. And so it's not coming from the best of women. You get what I'm saying? It's not like coming from, a sincere place. Is more or less like, well, you're not even on my level. It's more of a down than up. And so, and I want to tell you something, Bishop. Listen, y'all story is no different. My parents been married for, I want to say, damn near 30 years. My mama didn't marry our biological father. My mother met my dad. We were living in the same apartments. My dad is an East Texas country boy. He was living with his cousin. My mama is a city woman with her two sons. And how I be connected, but what I do know, because I know my mama. This is how it's gonna be. This is what it is. This is what I expect. This is how, and not that my mother's one, a materialist. It wasn't nothing like that. It's just that what's not gonna happen is you go play game with me. Me, my mother, you be like, damn, everybody meet my mother like, this is a real woman. And so I can just imagine, because they married when we were in elementary school, young kids. But that's kind of how it was. My dad lived with his cousin. He was a country boy from Winona, Texas. In Winona. Not Tyler, Texas. Winona.
I'm from Daisy. I'm smaller than that.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? And so that story, there are those unique stories. And it does take a certain type of woman to accept a man. Let's be honest. We got to be real about this. It takes a certain type of woman. You have to be built different to say, I'm going to meet you where you are.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, because we all in that 40 plus age, we want instantaneous now.
Right.
We want when I meet you, because I see it. I've never said it, and I'm going to say it here. I've never said it. A lot of people don't know that I'm divorced. And so, what I did say at the beginning of the show was Bishop married me and my ex-wife. I'll still wrestle with how I wanted to say that. But that is true, because we sit up here like you said, that representative is sent, and
Mm-hmm.
expectation is laid out, and then once that expectation happens, then you start seeing, what you seeing and what it really is something totally different. That's why I understand because like I said, I don't talk about it. Now the bishop know because I told him a while back, but I've never really put it out there. So this is like would be the first time I've ever done it because I understand that it's that right now. Don't want to build toward nothing. Not like we have to mesh and set a foundation because what you're displaying right now is, and I think you guys been married what 3 years for?
No,
No.
How long have y'all guys been married?
we've been married 18 months.
Listen, the way y'all carry yourself, I could have sworn y'all celebrated like year 2 or 3.
No, sir.
But
It'll be 2 in August for us. 2 years in August.
right, so that's what okay. So I'm close. So it's about 2 years. But that's what I'm saying. It takes an exceptional woman, and every woman, and that's my word for 2021. The word is exceptional, and you probably seen me on social media use the word basic and exceptional. It takes an exceptional woman, no different than an exceptional man, to be able to say, "I will meet you where you are, and we will grow together." I'm not looking down on you. You're not above me. You're not below me. But we're going to meet each other. And let's be real. That is kind of hard to find. We got to be honest about it. It's hard to find that genuineness in people, because there's just a narrative of, again, you have to have this, the standards that can't be met.
And we looking for somebody to save us, though. I think a lot of us women looking for Captain Saver, and I wasn't.
Hold on, wait.
Okay.
Wait. Let's go to this next segment.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's jump into. I'm going to play the video of B. Simone.
Yeah.
And after I play the video, you got the floor because I love you already. I like her, Bishop. I co-sign.
I told you.
I co-sign because you keep it way 100. So we're going to go into the B. Simone video for you guys who are just now tuning in. We're talking with Bishop Anthony Jones and his lovely wife, prophetess Kristi Jones. They are the author and co-author of this book, Competing with the Man in Your Head. Anytime we have a relationship topic, listen, is always fire. Now we're going to jump into B. Simone. B. Simone is apparently, I guess she's a reality star. I don't even know who she is, but this video kept popping up on my timeline. Folks, of course, naturally going to send it to me. And she has a lot of women, and it normally happens with women who get upset every time a woman get the calling other women out on their BS. And so I'm going to share screen. So you guys give me a hot 2 seconds. Let me share my screen real quick, and we're going to play this video for you guys. And then we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna let the lady of the show take first crack at it, and then we're gonna come back and really just jump right into it. So here we go.
We got all these things we want in a man. A list of things. He gotta be tall, he gotta be dark, he gotta be handsome, he gotta have pretty teeth, he gotta be a family man, he gotta be financially stable, he gotta be rich, he gotta be successful, he gotta be all these things. And we ain't even have the things on that list. He gotta be a family man. Bitch, you ain't talked to your mama in 6 months, but you want him to be a He gotta be financially stable. Your account is in the negative, man. Overdraft fees. He gotta have a job. You need to go fill out some applications because you're still unemployed. He gotta have pretty teeth. You ain't seen a dentist in 6 years. He gotta have a six-pack and be in shape. You can't even walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing. It's your life. This whole list that he gotta be. You ain't even half the things on that list.
Ooh.
Wow.
So
40 seconds.
Miss
Wow.
Jones. Let's go back to Captain Sable, and you got it.
Yeah, I think that, wow, yeah, she said a lot in them 40 seconds. But bottom line is we as women want a Captain Saver. You know, we want somebody to come and save us out of the situation that we in. Again, it's a damsel in distress, that whole Cinderella syndrome, that that, you know, he's supposed to come and, you know, I've heard women, he's supposed to complete me. He's supposed to, you know, add to me. And that's wonderful for him to add to you. But what about you adding to him? You know, my thing was, I was already in a situation that was there prior to him getting there. So why should I hold him responsible to take me out of that situation when I brought it and made it myself? Why should I get him to carry me and fix the situation that I damaged, that I caused? It's a level of responsibility that we have as women, as she's saying, to be held accountable for our own actions and not hold a man responsible to save us. They're not supposed to save us. We're supposed to add to them. As a matter of fact, he that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor with the Lord. So when he finds me, he finds favor. And that's why his life is pushed to another level. That's why his life is changed. That's why his life is accelerated, because he found me. Not vice versa. I'm trying to find him so he can fix me, or he can help me, and he can advance me. And I think that that's our biggest problem as women. We need to step back and say, okay, know who I am and know that there's value to me, but also understand that if I'm not in a good place, it's not his responsibility to put me in one.
Okay, so I got a question, then I'm gonna turn it over to Bishop, and I want to hear his thoughts on this video. I've seen women on social media literally say, if he watches you struggle, he ain't for you, sis.
Wow.
I've literally seen that statement to what you're saying, Prophet, of this ideal, like you said, that the list that B. Simone is talking about, he has to be all this. And I ask women this question, listen, everything you're asking of me, do you give? You'll be surprised how many women go silent. You want all of that from me, but then when I ask you, well, are you at least the basic in which what you asking me? Or do you do that? Or are you he got to be loving, he has to be patient and this, and so I say, well, are you patient? Well, you can't ask him to be something that you're not. And that's basically what B. Simone is saying. You want this, but then you do this, and I see it all the time. Of the B. Simone conversation. And like I said, man, she got back that little 42 seconds.
Yes, seconds.
You know, got women, and that's why I made the status on my own page. And when I realized, I said, you know what? It ain't just me when I'm posting, questioning and putting a mirror to women. It ain't just me that's the bad guy. It's anybody who questions the accountability. You get what I'm saying? You know, hey, you're bigger and better than WAP. You got a lot more to offer, and I just do it in a sarcastic way. But it's the same thing. I'm never really downing women, but just saying, hey, you know, damn, you're a little bit deeper than an ass picture. I remember I posted that meme. This is before we were friends, Miss Jones. I posted a picture that was like F the ass picture. You know, what book are you reading? Oh my God! When I say they coming out of the woodworks and they pissed off, I created a status that said, you know, you'll see 3 things on social media from a woman: either she's selling ass, she's showing ass, or she was something else. And when I say they coming, and I'm being honest, because let's be real, if you're on social media, I'm on all social media platforms. I see it all. I'm just not talking about women on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I've been on there. Matter of fact, I've been on Twitter just as long as I've been on Facebook. So I'm going on like 12 years on Twitter. I see it everywhere. Instagram. I mean, it's true. Either they showing ass, meaning the pictures and the poses. They either selling it. They're not saying that they selling it, but you're posting it and you're advertising something. Let's be real about it. Your Instagram models. And it was something else, but I realized after watching B. Simone, I said, you know what? It ain't just me. It ain't just Kevin Samuel. It's anybody who challenges a woman's ideal of relationships. You get what I'm saying? All of that. Bishop, now, I want to hear from you because I think in our messenger, you was like, she telling the truth, way before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the video?
Well, again, she is telling the truth. And my wife is, well, I think you need to be careful. Be careful what you're asking. Like you said, if you're gonna ask something of me, be willing to do it. Here's the unique thing about my wife, and the reason that I think she's from a whole other planet. She does things completely opposite of anything that I ever known. She does things that I saw on TV, like on a sitcom, of how the perfect wife would be. And I promise you, I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. This is why my wife makes me better. She's not giving me, she don't give me these demands at all. Dude, I don't even take the trash out of my house. And they don't make me less than a man. Hell, she just always beat me to it. You know, but I come home every day to my house spotless. I don't have to do nothing. Probably for the first 6 months of our marriage, dude, I didn't pay no bill. I paid the car note. She does it all as if she said, I want to make his life perfect. Literally, I don't cook. I pay bills every now and then. That's just, what she'll leave for me when I bring my check home. Most of the time, my check just going to bed because she done it all. She cooked, she cleaned. Listen, she was without a man for 10 years. This is the part she didn't tell you. She was celibate for 10 years. So, bruh, listen. Listen.
Wait a minute, hold on, Bishop. Wait a minute. Wait, stop.
Wait.
Stop.
Yeah.
This is where I say it's boss hog. I'm gonna talk my shit.
Come on.
That's my line. I better not ever see that on nobody t-shirt. That is my slogan. I'm gonna talk my shit. I did not ask, but on the Pettigrew Show, we are uncensored, unfiltered. I did not ask. And because I know who you are, I didn't even think about it. Mm-hmm. But you brought it up, so of course I got it. Now we got to talk about it.
Come on.
First of all, if that's what you was doing for 10 years, again, I want to commend you because you are a very exceptional woman. I'm not saying it to flatter you because that ain't in my DNA. I'm saying that to say that even though we are human, the nigga in me. Listen. See, you new to my page. But I done talked about all this. The nigga in me, the first thing I tell a woman is okay, I get you're single. But when I'm asking you, are you single, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to that. Because we don't really care. I see a man, we don't, okay, you single. We see that all the time. We see women say that all the time. I'm single. But is that, and y'all know what I'm talking about, and I'm just being respectful because of who I have on the show.
Yes.
Because I respect Bishop enough, because that's a cool brother. And I know I can say what I want to say, but I respect this. That's what we're speaking to when we ask, because I see it all the time, oh, I'm single, ain't, have no man, woo, 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 woo. But what we're not knowing and what we're finding out is that you can pick up the phone.
Right.
That ain't where you're telling me you're single. You're not saying I'm single like that. You get what I'm saying? We put it on social media.
Get you.
We put on all of that, but what a lot of women won't say is that, but I'm not single. In other words, if y'all are slow and just don't get the shit, that you're single sexually also. Because I could care less about you not having a man. I get it. You don't want to be committed. You're not dating like in a committed. I get it. But are you single sexually? And so 10 years, listen, when I met my wife, the good doctor, she was a former co-host of this show. She had been celibate for 3 years. So I understand it, but I got it. She would have been what they call a unicorn, never been married, no children, highly educated. We're talking a doctor, you know what I'm saying? Doctorate degree, so occupied, just doing whatever, she was doing. So it wasn't so far-fetched. Now, in hindsight, now fast forward, do I kind of believe it? No. It might be true, and more than likely it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all will be the only two that have literally said, I just sustained from sex. And so again, I commend you because you did it longer than she did it. You know what I'm saying? She was 3 years and I was amazed at that. To also, decide to do that takes hell of a dedication and commitment. So again, I just want to commend you on that because I'm sure that was hard.
Very hard. It was. I'll tell no woman that wasn't. Oh, it was just something I was doing. No, it was. I turned off that side of me because I had been hurt. Like when I divorced my ex-husband, I got caught up with a guy. And after that, I got caught with a guy sexually. And after that, I had committed to myself I wasn't going to go down this road again. So I cut that side of me all the way off, and I had tunnel vision. And so that's what kept me. I ran like Joseph all the time because brothers was that a sister.
Yeah, I mean,
And so, but yeah, it was hard. It was difficult, but I didn't want to I wanted to be married again one day. And I didn't want to sow into my marriage the things that I did as a single person. Because when you reap what you sow. And so when you're single, everything you putting out, it's going to reciprocate. It's going to come back to you. So I didn't want to sow that. I didn't want to be that female that everybody knew. I was in church. I was in ministry. I didn't want to be that female that when my husband went around, I had it. I had that.
Right.
I be passed around like you passing the offering bucket. No, that wasn't me, So that was a decision that I made and a vow that I made to God. And, to what my husband was saying, I was just taught by my grandmother. So my grandparents were married for 62 years. And I saw the pattern of how relationships are supposed to be and how it worked together, how it gelled together. And I wanted to be that example. And I wanted my husband to feel the way that my grandfather felt. He was happy to come home. He was happy to come home to his wife every day. He called her all the time, baby, I'm out here, but I'll be home. And she was ready for him, and I wanted my husband to be happy to come home to some peace, come home to some happiness, some cleanness, come home to a good meal every day. Because that's all I saw. My grandmother cooked 3 times a day. And that's what I do for my husband. So it's all in what you desire to do, is what you dedicate yourself to.
So my question, and either one of you can answer it, is if society standards ruining Black relationships, marriages? Again, we can reference the video that we just watched. Is there a, we see right now Hot Girl Summer is winning. I'm not saying that beautiful Black women, who are solid, who has a foundation, but right now, if you look at social media and everything, what's being put in front of us are Black reality, TV, the Megan Thee Stallions, the, Cardi B's, and I love me some Cardi B. And and I say that because before she was ever popular, me and her were social media friends before anybody knew her. I used to share her videos, and hell, she couldn't get 10 likes. So when she was just a stripper from the Bronx, we just happen to be social media friends. And so that's what I mean. I don't really listen to her music like that, but is society standards ruining in the way of Black relationships, Bishop?
I think absolutely, because we're painting this superficial picture that people are trying to live up to, when really, at the end of the day, man, I wanted someone that I could gel with, that I was cool with, that I could laugh with, and that I can build together. I can build something with. You know what I'm saying? That accepted me for me. That, like, if I wasn't a bishop, then Anthony Jones, she's just cool with Anthony Jones. And I think that we should stop trying to live up to what we see. And man, we create our own moments. We create our own happiness. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to do what we see other people do. Whether we have the money or not, we do what makes us happy with one another. And that's it. And I think if people would find someone that will love them for who they are, and they create their own moments instead of trying to live in somebody else's moment. You know, it's just ironic that my last name is Jones, but people try to live up and be like the Joneses. Bro, listen, that's a bit overrated.
Right.
You don't know what the next person went through or what they're going through. Or again, like I seen we watched a TV show last night called what's the name of that show, baby?
If not now, when?
If not now, when? This woman was living. She was a lawyer. No, she was a real estate broker. Her husband was a football player, ex-football player. On the outward appearance, it looked good, but on the inside, she was miserable. The relationship was horrible. And I think too many people are looking at TV and saying, "Oh man, they got it going on," but just don't realize how miserable those people are on the backside of the scene, man.
Mm-hmm.
Prophetess, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with my husband. I think that society has painted this picture. They always have. We've always wanted to be like the people on TV. We wanted to be like the Cosbys when the Cosby was on TV. Everybody loved the Cosbys. You know what I'm saying? You know, you finally got some black people on there, doctors and lawyers, and you know, society, television, social media, communication, all of that has painted a picture of what we feel is supposed to be a good relationship. You know, everybody wants that fairy tale lifestyle, and it really no one has really set aside the time. Even the church, I think sometimes the church has failed in teaching real true relationship. We will say that because we're in ministry, you know, and we're teaching our people. We're teaching them by example of what you really should have in the body of Christ. And I think that, you know, we failed in that area as well, as to actually give that teaching and that real sound doctrine on what relationships truly should be like, you know, and even having an example, not just in church, but period, amongst Black communities, have that example. I think the old example, they feel like that's outdated, you know, all that old school. We always say old school against new school. But some of that old school stuff we need to teach and keep. Big Mama used to pull your coattail and say, girl, cross your legs, sit yourself down, pull your skirt down. You don't have your skirt hiked up all the way over you, all over you like that. You walk like a lady, talk like a lady, act like a lady. You know, she snatch you up. But we don't have that anymore. You know, we don't have those big mamas and meemaws telling us, you know, you talk too much. The man don't want no woman with a big mouth always running her mouth. You know, we don't have that kind of you know, we don't have that kind of teaching anymore where, you know, they pull your coattail and say, even the men pulling the man coattail, say, man, you treat your woman like a lady, man. She'll act like one when you treat her like one. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we're missing. We're missing the old school reaching forward to the new school and pulling them back a little bit, saying, take a little bit of this and your relationships will be better. So
my next question, because again, I got 50 million since we're on relationships. Would you guys also say that one of the main reasons why we have difficulties in relationships is because we wasn't taught it in our home? And what I mean by that is for instance, how can, you know, I tell women all the time, I have female friends, and my female friends are married. My closest friends, my riders, my day ones, 30 plus years of women, you know, married women. I was a married guy, you know, we just kind of grew up together. But what I've always said is, you know, I say to women who are single or who are dating, I say, well, what do you go teach your children? I mean, how do you teach your children how to love a man if they've never seen you in a relationship? Because I say that to say, because a lot of women say, I'm not bringing no man around my children. And I understand that. That is understandable to a certain extent. I understand it. And so that's why I asked that if for instance, these women and men are not seeing it, because we can say whatever. Like the truth is, my dad never taught me my dad. My daddy ain't never sat down with me and said, "Hey son, this is how you need to treat a woman. Hey son, you need to do X, Y, Z." My mother has never sat down with me and said, "Hey, you need to do," and you get what I'm saying? Like my parents have never laid down to me a expectation of what I needed to be to a woman because I watched it growing up. You follow what I'm saying? I saw it. I never seen my parents ever get into an argument. It's
Right.
never. And my mother be the first to say, "Listen, son, don't think because you didn't see us get into it,
Right.
that we ain't had no misunderstandings or we ain't taught. We just did it where y'all didn't see it. We did it behind closed doors. We did it when y'all was asleep. We had our conversations then." And so it for me, when I run across a woman, you know, I'm looking for certain things. I have to be honest. I don't have an expectations list. I would never run across a woman and say, "I expect you to do this," because my expectations are simple. What we expect from each other anyway. If I meet you, I'm gonna respect you because that's just kind of how it's raised.
Right.
So I don't have to tell a woman you need to be respectful. Like, damn it, you should have it or not. And if you ain't got it, we good. So again, could it be because a lot of us, like you had your grandmother, you was raised a certain way, so that built you to be a certain way. Well, what about the woman or the man who didn't see it? Y'all follow what I'm saying? So, so how do you address that if they never saw it? If I was never taught how to love, if I didn't see a man loving my mama, or you know, my mama loving a man and doing those things, for instance, you do for Bishop, you know, where are we left at? How do y'all address that?
Well, I was that dude. I had an unhealthy and dysfunctional childhood. I saw my parents fight all the time. When I say fighting, they fought for blood. Now, listen, my mama stabbed my daddy stabbed my mama. Well, not my yeah, he's my dad. That's the guy that raised me. I think he might even shot my mom in the shoulder one time. I've seen it catastrophic. And as I grew up, what I realized later on in life is, one, I never dealt with all of that. So even though I was abusive to women physically, I was a hoe. So emotionally, I was. I did all of that. But remember, I told you I came to a point in life where I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw anymore. And I asked God to help me, to give me a transition. And so now that transition probably been about within the last 5 years. So a lot of stuff that my wife do now, it still someone blows my mind. And bro, sometimes I gotta take a moment. I gotta take a moment to some of the good stuff that she's giving me, because I don't know how to take it because I ain't never saw it. I'm talking about even right now. You know, you getting a good story, so don't let us fool you think that we don't argue, that we got a perfect marriage. No, I have a hard time with a lot of stuff that she brings to the table because I don't know it. I didn't know it. You know, so I get that, and so from me, I can speak to that part is because I'm still learning, and I think that's what we have to get to a place. I'm not so prideful enough. I ain't arrogant enough, and my ego ain't so big that I can say, "But I don't get this." See, them times that we went to the park, my wife was a big talker. I'm not. I observe, and I observe the moment. So picnics and stuff that she would do, man, I would just lay out there, be chilling, and be good because I'm experiencing something I never knew. I didn't know nothing about no picnics and how to go on. See, my thing of a date was spending a whole bunch of money and then, you know, ending up at the hotel. Well, none of that stuff was working no more. You see what I'm saying? So my concept, all of that was dysfunctional and unhealthy. I met her, which is what I wrote on this paper. My wife makes me better. She's making me a better person each and every day.
Oh, baby. He just make me melt sometimes.
And I got a question after you talk too. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, he said something so key, and I got so much out of what he said as far as, because now don't get it twisted. I lived with my parents from the age of 1 to 10, but I would go with my grandmother in the summer times. And so I come, same thing, dysfunctional. My father beat on my mom every day of the week. I mean, every day. Well, the day went by when my mom didn't get beat up, beat down every day. And so I grew up in that, but I got both sides. I got my grandmother, I saw where it was healthy, and my parents, I saw where it was unhealthy. And so in my spirit, I'm like, I want to be opposite of this, but I want what I'm learning from here. You know, and so for the people that don't have it, it's difficult. It is difficult. Like he said, when he had dysfunction, I had dysfunction too. And so you take those pieces and you build something different, or you may build, some people build the same thing that they grew up in and they don't know anything different, or they don't even think it's dysfunction. You know, it was one thing that it was a certain thing that my husband did that I just didn't like. You know, it took me back to my childhood. It took me back to my first marriage, and he didn't understand that was bothering me because I didn't express it. And so when I expressed it to him, now he doesn't do it. You know, so it's like we teach each other how to love each other. And I think that's when you don't have it, you have to create what you desire, and then not so much as hold a person to their expectation, but show them that's what you desire. Show them how to love you. Show them what you need, because he's still learning, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning how that my husband, it's a lot of things he's not used to, but I'm used to doing them. And sometimes if you don't catch yourself, you'll get frustrated with what that person's not used to having and doing. And it'll make you want to, you know, okay, well, forget it. You know what I'm saying? But you're teaching each other how to love each other, how it's different for him. It's different for me. And now we can make something better out of something different. And so I think that's what a lot of people miss. They're trying to create, or they don't have it, but they don't know how to create something too. Like, you know how you want to be loved. You want to be respected. You want to be honored. You want to be talked to nice. You know those things. So create those atmospheres. Don't create the atmospheres that you don't want. Create the atmospheres that you do want in your relationship.
Right. And what it sounds like from getting from you guys' marriages is a word that I like to use a lot, which is reciprocity. Because this wouldn't work without an exchange.
Yeah.
Reciprocity that goes back and forth that I'm basically hearing from you guys. That's what it boiled down to. You know, I always say that, you know, I don't want nobody like me. Hell, like it's me. I'm straight. Don't need you like me.
Right.
But however, we can balance each other again, because I always tell people I'm never above learning, because I think that's what it's about. It's not about, you know, again, social media show you, you know, it's the vacations and doing this and doing that, but that ain't really the real work. That's not, you know what I'm saying? And it's the work that you all are saying that y'all are putting in.
Yes, Lord.
That you're putting in. It is the everyday work. Michelle and Barack Obama, they first came president, and I talked about this again. I'm very vocal, you know, and I looked and I seen how all the women was like, oh my God, they just love Barack, and ooh, this Michelle, and woo. And me, I'm a realist. You know, I'm not a romantic. I'm not into the romanticism of relationships and marriages, because you're not going to be romantic every day. I mean, when you plan on seeing this person for the rest of your life, you gotta take that shit slow. You know what I'm saying? I see you every day. I got the rest of my life. So, you know, we're gonna take this slow and steady. But what I've seen is this whole and I wish, you know, we had what they had, and I remember telling somebody, I'm like, you can have what they have, but it's work. It ain't y'all don't understand the story. Y'all see the end result. Y'all see y'all see him attaining the highest position in the land as president, but you ain't seeing him when he was an activist in Chicago, when they didn't have shit, when they was, you know, had student loans, and it goes back to that microwave. You want the end result without putting in the work. And so what I say with you guys is, y'all are what I call building a foundation, putting in the work. That it involves communication. It ain't a one-sided relationship where you feel like, no, I'm a woman, and so no, you're supposed to just treat me this way. You know, damn what you want. But no, I'm a woman and I expect to be treated this way. What you're saying is I expect to be treated a certain way, and this is just me. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to give you the best of me. It's going to be a both way situation, and so if I'm gonna give, your ass gonna have to give however you give. I think a lot of times you go back to
it makes it easy. It makes it easy, man, for me to have $200, $300, $400, $500 sitting over here. That if she say something, you just go grab it and do it. Cause she make it so easy. It's like if you don't, you're gonna be feeling guilty. You be like, boy, you don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it makes it easy for me. It makes it easier for me to work. It actually motivates me to work.
There you go.
Yeah, and marriage, man, listen, because I've been married more than twice. Let me just throw it on out there. But what I have done is, or what I haven't done is, I've never worked at a marriage, and I've never had anybody to stay in the ring with me and fought.
Because we fight, not fist fight. You know,
no, but
we have some nags, some drag out knockouts up in this bad boy. You heard me?
But see,
yeah, we have some. Yeah, what you say? You know, yeah, we do that, but it's all in the communication. I'm trying to say one thing, he trying to say another, but it's the same thing. Right. And we're just saying it different because we're so different. And I'm so thankful for my husband that he embraces my difference. It took him a while. He was thrown back a little bit, you know, but he embraces my difference and he honors me for who I am and the difference that I bring. And he don't try to muzzle me. He don't try to beat me down, push me down to be anything different, you know, and I'm so grateful to have him. And I try to show him that every day because my grandmother told me something when I was a child and I didn't understand it because she used to say all these things. And I'm like, I'm just a kid. Why are you talking to me like this? Mm-hmm. And she would say all the time that a man doesn't have to stay with you. They choose to. So when you get married, you don't, if a person's with you, you appreciate them for where they are because they don't have to be with you. They choose to be with you because they love you. And so I honor him because he chooses me every day. He chooses to be with me every day. He don't have to stay with me in my proclivities and my OCD that I got going on and all these other extra things that get on his little nerves, you know, that some men probably will walk out on. But he chooses to stay with me, you know, and so I want to appreciate who he is. And I want to show him he's the king of my house. He's the king of this house. And there's no other king beside him. There's no other greater than him than God. But when he come in this house, the king is present and he'll know that he's the king. And he'll feel that he's the king.
Right. So, and I mean, and what I'm talking about is what I like to say is if you get married, you know, the truth is we on marriage and all that. Listen, everybody ain't built to be married. And you need to realize that.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Okay, let me say it. Excuse my language. It is what it is. Everybody is not meant to be married. Just because you want to get married, that don't mean. And again, I see it all the time on social media because that's just who I am. You know, the king of being petty. I see all of it, and when I see it, I gotta call it for what it is. You know, a lot of time, a lot of women and men make excuses for why they don't want to get married. I was raised in it. I mean, that's all I know, and I'm not saying that's what the reason why I got married is just that that's what I know. Family, that's it. You know, hell, right now I'm the only one that's not. You get what I'm saying? Because that's just kind of, you know, we are, you know, and so. But everybody's not built for it. You know, some people want to jump into marriage and relationships or whatever because, again, the romanticism by you'll spend $40,000 on a wedding, but can't invest in y'all foundation moving forward. And damn it, listen, if I spend $40,000, damn it, I'm gonna go get a good high 7 years out of it before I throw you away or something. I'm
not 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to look at the math of I gotta get my money back. I gotta get it back. I mean, we gonna have something, damn it. Now, we might fight about it later in court. I'm gonna get something out of $40,000. The point is why I'm being funny. You gonna spend that type of investment on one day. You can spend $40,000 over a lifetime to invest in your marriages. That's just all I'm saying. You can invest that same money, that time. I tell people all the time, listen, Nothing has to be wrong with your marriage to go to counseling, marriage counseling. It don't have to be nothing. If you are tuned up every month just to say, you know what, we just want to go and talk to somebody that mentor us or however, because I want to make my marriage work. And again, it goes back to the work. It goes back to what y'all talking about. Yes, we have our differences, but like I tell people, if your ass don't have no bounce back, marriage ain't for you.
Yep.
If you don't have bounce back, and that's why I say marriage ain't for everybody, because it look good until now you don't really want to deal with them after 6 months. You ain't built for marriage. You really want to play. You get what I'm saying? You really want to bounce. You 6 months, man, I'm tired. You want to bounce to somebody else, just be honest and say, you know what? Marriage ain't for me. Let me go and be who I really want to be instead of trying to play the game, because you waste people's time. And so, like I say, man, I commend y'all for that, because that's what you're talking about, that bounce back that is required when you get married. If you're in a relationship, that's the whole goal. If your ass is just in a relationship just to be in a relationship, I look at it like you at a race and you at the finish line just saying, well, no, I don't really want to cross the finish line. I'm just cool with being where I'm at. And so before we get out of here, because y'all just shook up my whole show, and I love it. I love it. I want some words of wisdom, because clearly you guys have some words of wisdom in this book. Y'all testimony as husband and wife that y'all living out, because I do believe it's really not in the words that you say, it's about what you show people, because people are going to look at what it is. You know what I'm saying? And while I'm at it, since I got y'all on here, I'm going to just throw y'all a little alley-oop, and if you decide to dunk it, that's on y'all. One of the biggest issues that black couples are having, especially when they get married, they don't have anybody to go to mentor them. And so with that being said, I'm going to throw the alley-oop. And maybe one day when God put it in y'all spirit, maybe y'all might want to decide to say, you know what, let me create an avenue for people who are newlyweds, and be, in other words, be a testimony, because people can't go to their mothers, can't go to their fathers, because they probably have never seen it. You follow what I'm saying? And if they have somebody that they can go to and turn around and say, visible, you know what, we can learn something from them. If the church is not giving it to the couples, y'all are still the church. And if somebody else is dropping the ball, somebody else need to be picking it up. And so again, I'm gonna just throw it, and however y'all choose to deal with it and use it down the line, whatever y'all do in y'all ministry, that's on y'all. But I do think that you guys will make great mentors for newlywed and people who are trying to have a healthy relationship, who are going to be real about the experiences and the expectations. And definitely, again, the prophetess who are telling women, you got to let that damn man in your head go if you really want what's for you, because you can't experience the happiness and love you want if you're fighting with somebody in your head that you want to give it to you that might not ever come. So with that being said, the lady first, prophetess, what words of wisdom do you want to leave with the audience?
I would say I'm gonna talk to the ladies, because I know Bishop gonna talk to the brothers. So I'm gonna talk to the sisters about, since we're talking about our book, please purchase the book first of all. We didn't write it so we can be the #1 bestseller. If that happens, praise the Lord. We thank God for that. Whatever God want to do, we wrote it because we wanted to share our story with so many people that are struggling in relationships. And so for the ladies that are out there that are, you've been holding out, you've been wondering why I'm not married, why am I being overlooked, why is it so many people around me get married but I can't? It's time to take a self-evaluation in the mirror. And it's time to look and see, is there somebody else standing in the way? Is there a man in your head that you have from the past that you still want, that's probably married to somebody else? Is there someone in your life that hurt you so bad that you can't get past it? And you say, I'll never want to be with another man again. Is there somebody in that you knew that damaged you to the point to where another man has to break down 15 brick walls to get to your heart? All of that is competing with the man in your head. It's all about this person that you either had in the past or you have in your head that you want because of the past. It's time to take that self-evaluation and rethink and reassess, getting past what you want and to say, what is really good for me? What do I really need versus what I desire? What is it that God has for me? Who is it that the Lord wants me to be with? I've picked them too much. My picker is off. My picker is off. And so now I want to choose and pick and allow God to pick for me the person that it is that needs to be in my life, and stop wrestling with all of these lists and I have to have this, I have to have that, he has to have this, he has to have that, and just let down your guard and open up your heart and open it up wide. It's okay to get hurt, because if you get hurt, that means you still have feelings. Some of us have become numb because we don't have feelings anymore. We've turned ourselves off. But I'm talking to the women today. Open up your heart again and look around you. He may be right in your face and you don't know it.
Thank you very much, man. That was lovely words of wisdom, Bishop.
I want to say first to the comment that you made about being available to other couples. I thought my wife was going to do it, but we do have a show called The Love Seat, and we air every other Sunday at 7 o'clock. Are we airing tonight then?
No, that's next Sunday.
Yeah. So next Sunday at 7 o'clock, go on Facebook and text in The Love Seat. And man, we talk about everything under the sun. We talk about what we're going through. My wife come up with all these different texts, all these different topics and stuff. So come on to The Love Seat. If you want to get down and dirty, listen, put the kids to sleep. We get a glass of wine and we go hit it on The Love Seat. If you ain't talking to the bishop in the properties on The Love Seat, this Anthony on The Love Seat. We talking about swinging from the roofs and the toys that they got hid up. The toys that they got hid up under the bed on The Love Seat. So with that being said, I want to say, to those who may have been married again. Listen, I was married a couple of times. I understand maybe the concept of coming to a crossroad and saying it's just not for me. I heard Stephen say it a few minutes ago. It's really not for everybody. I got the scripture that can support that is not for everybody. Paul said, if I bid you to be like me, but if you can't go without doing it, marry. I'd rather to marry than to burn. But I will say this, that if you've ever been there and it didn't work, don't give up on love. If I had gave up on love the first time I was divorced, I would have never made it to where I am right now. My marriage didn't work, but marriage is good. Love is real, and don't give up on that. Don't give up on love. Don't give up on the magic that marriage brings for two individuals to come together, because it was meant to be magical, and it is magical. It may not have worked the first time, but try it again. Before you give up, try it again. And just because I gotta be me, it may not even work the second time. But at least you get 3 strikes before you out.
Come on.
And if we just really want to deal with baseball, if they throw you 4 balls, you at least get to go to first base.
That's right.
Just don't give up. Don't quit. Because you never know. Love may be right in front of you.
Already, listen, Bishop, I love having you on my show anytime. You more than welcome to always. Matter of fact, both of y'all more than welcome to always. Y'all were family of the Pettigrew Show. Bishop has always been a supporter. And so, I was elated that he hit me up to say, hey, man, I want to be on the show. We want to get the book out there. So I want you guys to purchase this book. Listen, I just got a little old platform with a couple 150-some thousand folks, here and there and whatever. Get the book,
You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon or inbox either one of us. or inbox either one of us. I'm Anthony Jones Sr. on Facebook, and my wife is Kristi Jones. So you can inbox us, and we'll get your autograph copy if you get the book from us.
Yes,
If not, it's available on Amazon.
Because I got mine.
Yeah.
I got mine. And like I said, I'm gonna do everything like I normally do. This show will re-air on several times, and so this is going to hit somebody. You know, I never not do a show that it doesn't hit anybody. And so, you know, this will the hero of this whole show will listen, and hopefully, you know, do what they need to do, because again, at the end of the day, somebody did give up. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. You know, I'm gonna be real transparent. I told my mother, I said, I'm gonna talk my shit. With that being said, I told my mama straight up, fuck marriage. I said,
Wow.
I'm done. I said, I can't do it. I gotta be honest. You know, this show, we keep it 100 here. And so, you know, I gotta tell my story too. You know, I said it. I was like, I'm done. My homegirls asked me, so, you know, this it for you? And that was when I was angry. You know, we talking about over a year ago. Right. You know what I'm saying? We talking hot, straight off. Damn it. You know, now looking back, for me to do that now, me being in a whole different place than I was then, that was me not being who I am. You get what I'm saying? You know, at the end of the day, I could never hold whatever my past is against my future.
Right.
Follow what I'm saying? Whoever she may be, I could never do that. That is shortchanging what's for me and what could be for this young lady, whoever it may be. But I was there. And so for, you know, anybody who feel like that, man, listen, you want to get this book, I'm definitely going to dive into this book. I got to see you know, certain parts of it now. I got to read it from the beginning to the end, which I'll probably finish this week, because I'm definitely going to do that and let them know how I feel about this book. And so again, man, listen, some nuggets were dropped. You can watch this show on the Petty Crew Facebook. Please forgive me. I'm banned right now, but it will be live Thursday. Moving forward, you'll be able to watch it live on YouTube in the next hour or so. I will be going live again. This show will be airing live on YouTube. We're already on Twitter. So shout out to the little hot 10 to 15 viewers I be having on Twitter. I know they be feeling kind of, you know, because I don't talk about my Twitter as much, so we are live on Twitter as well. So shout out to the people who are watching live on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for telling your story. Thank you guys for sharing your experience, your realness.
Thanks for having us.
Oh yeah, I knew the prophetess was real from the spiritual cocktail show that I was on when she called in, and I was like, she weighed 100. Let her, you know. and I do celebrate you, my brother, for finding a good thing. It is very rare. We got to be honest about it. It is rare to find that good thing as a man, and so I salute you for finding an exceptional woman. Now, I don't know you personally, but what I hear and what is being co-signed on, because I know Bishop is just not gonna just flatter your ass with just words. You know what I'm saying? Let me be nice for this show, you know. And so, you know, that's a beautiful thing, man. Love is a beautiful thing, and so again, as both of them reiterated, you know, for the women, stop competing with the man in your head. For men, if you're giving up, Bishop said, hey, don't give up on love, you know, because we would do it in a heartbeat. Let's be honest with me.
Yeah.
And we'll go back out to, you know, because I know what I told my mama, shit, I'm just going to take what they're giving me, mama. I'm just going to keep it 100. That was me a year ago. I'm going to be honest. That's exactly what I said. If that's all she got is a hot date and, you know, that cat, I'm going to take it. Because that's all you got for her. And again, that was upset me, you know, mad me. Then I had to get back in reality and say if I really went that route, I would actually be going out of the character and who I am. And like the prophet said, you know, what you sow, you reap. And I try to walk a life regardless of social media and this show that will line up me to have everything. You get what I'm saying? And so, you know, again, thank everybody for watching. Thank you guys. until next Sunday. Y'all don't get off. Let me end the live. I gotta say that because I don't want y'all to get off the show. Again, thank everybody. And